damn water, man. You know, something's wrong. So from that day on, it was a change in their lives. I got my life back, and you know, I've shared this now with 100,000 people, and they're all using it and drinking it every day, plus their families. So it just became something special. And again, I believe because of the qualities of the water, the way it works, the reason that Japan has lowered its health costs, the reason also the Japanese were living about 30 years, 20, 30 years longer than people in other countries. And also the fact that I moved to one of the blue zones in the Nicoya Peninsula in Costa Rica, where this water occurs naturally. And I see people that are 105 and 107, but they don't stop working. They don't put them in homes. They just work less. The fishermen still row their boats. The farmers and cowboys still ride their horses. They may not work as hard, but they don't give up. They're not put in homes. They're always taken care of and they're looked at as advisors to the family. Whereas here we take the old people, we don't really listen to what they say, and they have a lot of the knowledge of the lifetime of studying and achievement. So on that note, everybody, thank you for coming.
Okay, real quick, we're going to have Jerry speak. I can't understand what she's saying. Jerry, come on over. Sorry about this. We're going to have you, what's that? Well, no, there's one more. Yeah, and then we're gonna have lunch.
Well, you've heard so many things that have cracked your noodle by now.
Dave had.
We have to reassess everything we ever knew in light of what we knew intuitively and why we came. It's been a remarkable experience for me. My name's Jerry White. I'm an old swim coach. I had 17 kids at the United States Olympic trials. I coached most of the original Ironman triathletes on the West Coast in the first 2 or 3 years of Ironman. And my wife turned to me and said, she was my assistant coach, that $800 a month wasn't going to make it. I better get a real job. I went into physical therapy, became the head of research for the Shriners Hospital System, established for them the first human performance and gait analysis lab doing predictive surgery on orthopedics and neurology. Was an adjunct professor of biomechanics, physiology, and neuroanatomy for Eastern Washington University Medical School. And she looked at me and said, "Come home." What I'm going to show you as quickly as I possibly can is that sometimes it doesn't matter how, sometimes it doesn't matter why, but if it works and it's safe, go for it. You are going to find out about something in the next couple of minutes that is a breakthrough new science. There's 17,000 medical articles on this stuff called redox signaling. People have been referring to reductive and oxidative molecules all day. If I went into that, you would probably rebel. It's amazing information, but your brain can only take in what your butt can endure. So I want to do one observational thing real quickly. I want to find out after this much information how much you can retain. So I'd like to have you observe the person to your right, memorize a few things about them, look at them carefully, await their heads turned the wrong way. Now look and observe the person to your left, check out, see what's going on. I want you to sort of look at that face and compare with all the models in the world. And I'm going to give you a statistic. You've seen a lot of them today, but here's one that's very interesting. Found out over time that every third person is either incredibly beautiful or amazingly handsome. So if it wasn't one of them, it has to be you. What I'm going to do next is I was impressed with Dr. Howard's presentation yesterday. Weren't you all? And so I'm going to call upon Dr. Howard to tell you something that will save me 15 minutes of talking. And so if you would, could you experiment or explain what you just went through? So you got to come up to the video and all that sort of stuff.
So y'all get to get a live testimonial from me. A little background, I've had, I thought it was like a I'm telling an audience full of people this. Like, I thought it was like a sun rash, but I think it's some sort of hives. I don't know, I'm allergic to something, some kind of reaction, my body's rebelling, I don't know. But for a month, I've had huge, like you can't see them, like whelps and like bumps all over my hips and body, and they itch so bad. So I get to hang out at work and do this all the time, which is super attractive. And I've been to 3 different doctors. They don't know what it is. I've taken 2 steroid packs, 3 things of steroid cream, cortisone cream, essential oils. I mean, I've gone the natural route, the unnatural route, anything you can possibly think of, oatmeal baths. Nothing has helped. And I challenged him early, like 30 minutes ago, an hour ago, to let me try the cream. And so I tried it, and already like half the bumps are gone. And so I kept waiting. I'm just waiting for him to get done so I can buy some. So anyways, it's truly amazing. Honestly, nothing else has worked. And he didn't slip me a 20 before I came up here. But I do expect a good discount.
Would you tell them who it works on that I told you back there? It only works
on the most intelligent people. That's right. Just saying. So you guys should all try it and test your intelligence.
Okay, I'm going to do another little thing, because rather than what has been astounding to me is the amount of science that you've all put into proving what you have, I'm going to go backwards for a second. And I'm going to have you be the arbiters and figure out what is just about to happen. I want you to take your immense backgrounds, and I want you to tell me what is happening. In fact, some have probably answered the question several times today. So I would like to, let's see, Abby, can I borrow you? You've been sitting back there just so capably for all this time, and I can read your name tag from here, so you get the volunteer. And so would you come up for just a second? What I'm going to show you is something that, as in my coaching career, I found a very, very interesting change over the last 40 years. I'm going to test his flexibility. And then we're going to test it a couple of times, and we're going to measure a component of his flexibility, and then we're going to see if we can change his flexibility. So what was your sport?
Martial arts mostly, tennis, basketball.
Okay, martial arts, tennis, basketball, just all the stuff that attracted girls. So watch. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do something we used to do with swimmers and baseball pitchers, and that is to hold your arms out to the side like you're being crucified. I'll stand behind, I'll pull his arms back, and we'll find the point we call restriction 1, R1 in physical therapy. So let's see what that looks like. Okay, you notice that? Yeah. So let's get a measure on it. Here's what was different 40 years ago. It's taped to the thing so we can't take it off. That's pretty great. But here's what's different than 40 years ago. If I did that 3 times, he would improve every time 40 years ago. Today you don't. Figure that one out. In fact, you'll get worse, generally. Let's try it again. Feel the tension. Yep. Memorize how much that feels like. That's 28 inches. Okay. So he was 28 inches, and he knows what his perceived exertion was. Now what I'm going to do is going to affect the communication in his system in a way that's going to boggle your head. Your system, your body communicates with a system called redox signaling in a very, very interesting way. And I'm not going to try to answer the questions for you unless you talk to me at lunch, because I know you all want to get there. But I want your answers in your own minds of what's going to happen. I want you to take some of this, which is a concentrated extract of modified salt water. The salt water is broken down to sodium, chloride, hydrogen, and oxygen, and added with the nitrogen in the air, rebuilt back into a set of balanced, reductive, and oxidative molecules that you make in the Krebs cycle as a secondary byproduct. And when we add it back to the body, your body then somehow uses it for stuff. So we're going to look to see if we can find a stuff here. Put it on your finger. Apply it to the back of your neck. All right, there's one. So I'm just having it stick it somewhere. The more I study this, the more you could probably put it on between his first and second toe, or behind his ear, or right on the back of it. Here, let me give you one other thing while I'm having him do this. I'm going to just have you do it right here and right here. Now, because some stuff is more important than others, does anybody know why women do this all the time when their husband's around? Anybody know what that is? Yeah. You roll their eyes like that. Because all the rules of the universe are written on the back of their eyelids. So they're just checking it out. What did you screw up that we would never figure out? So what I'm going to do is to test him after that application and see if we get a change in his flexibility. Does anyone remember the number? 28. Okay. You tell me when